Hello, welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're gonna take a look at the Halloween Cup, or Little Cup edition, and I'm not really looking too much forward to this cup itself. You're gonna take a look at everything towards today as well. Of course, if you appreciate the effort, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. But yeah, today's cup is going to be a bit of a weird one. We're gonna dive right into it. But first, let's take a look at the meta. Taking a look now at the meta, we're going to see that Shackle, of course, is going to be the main Pokemon to beat, as well as Meryl. So, how are we going to be able to beat this Pokemon? We just don't. We're just going to have two Pokemon that can beat it. One is Meryl, which is as expensive as the Shackle. But also we're going to have here the option of going for Clodsire, which is the only viable option in order to beat this Pokemon. Otherwise, we're going to see here as well, we're going to lose against something like a Meryl, which is not really ideal with this one as well. And so yeah, this meta is kind of screwed. Like, this is literally the single worst meta I have ever seen. And you know what really kind of annoys me here is, next week we're going to have Great League Remix Cup afterwards, as well as a Halloween Great League Edition. Both of which are going to be amazing cups. Why could we not swap one of them with the ones that we have this week, where we have Master League as well as this, whatever it is, and we have then 2 weeks that actually have great cups, and not like 1 week that has nothing and 1 week that has like 2 amazing cups at the same time. I just don't understand it. Otherwise, the meta, basically Poison Dark, that's it. Poison Dark, and kind of maybe the odd mod type user like Golett, or like some funny Pokemon like Fungus there. But honestly, this meta is going to be very difficult to play in. If you can play in the Master League, play in the Master League. I'm still going to have a 10k charge move unlock team for this one coming up as well, so definitely stay tuned for this. Let's move into the top teams. As you saw in the meta already, of course, they're like the two Pokemon that you really want to run, which is both the Meryl as well as the Shackle. Both of them are needing a lot of XL candies, basically fully XL'd. As well as just a ton of Stardust, making it very difficult to get them. So you're going to see some very standard meta teams here now in the beginning, and then we're going to take a look at some more unique ones. They're not that crazy unique, but I kind of want to give at least some options for you, for the people that don't want to spend a million Stardust for one Little Cup team, which would be this one here, for example. Shackle, Scrap, and Meryl is going to be a perfect combination together. Like, literally, look at the screen there, it's literally perfect. Like, you're mostly gonna win against nearly everything with it. But yeah, this is going to be a very good team to run. Yeah, run this team, very, very good. Would really recommend you. But again, yeah, it is very, very expensive. We have some alternatives here as well that are definitely just not as good as the main Pokemon, for sure not. Rebel, of course, going to have the same typing, but way worse stats and way worse moves. And kind of actually better moves, but like the stats just really make a difference for Shackle anyway. The moves of Shackle are not great no matter what. And then for Meryl, we're going to have Azumarill, which you can also run, but Bubble Awkward Tail is just very, very good for it as well. Could actually see Azumarill getting maybe a buff with Awkward Tail as well, would be kind of funny, but I feel like it might be even a little bit too overpowered anyway. So yeah, this is for team number 1. We're gonna move on to team number 2. As said before, we're gonna take a look first at like the really meta teams. Oh well, you can also run Meryl on the lead and Shackle in the back, and run Skorupi as a Saysop. Skorupi is going to be great at baiting out potential answers to Shackle, which are like 2 maybe. But yeah, generally speaking, it's just a very neutral Pokemon in between. And as we will see as well, it just helps out with the weaknesses of Meryl. And it's just going to be the best kind of team that you can run. Like Meryl, Shackle, literally, for every single team. If you don't have a Pokemon, but you have either Shackle or Meryl, and you want to play the team, just throw them in there. Doesn't matter if it's a Saysop, it doesn't matter if it's Elite, doesn't matter if it's closer, doesn't matter if it does make sense and based on typing. Those two Pokemon are just so overpowered that you can literally play everything around it. So basically, also what you're gonna see throughout the video here, the teams are going to be quite in a similar theme, but like it's all kind of to try to beat Shackle and Meryl, and we're gonna move right into team number 3, which is gonna be the first one to beat them. We're going to have Greninja, going to be one of the Pokemon that can hit at least Shackle quite hard. It still loses the matchup, I think, in every scenario, which is ridiculous. We're going to have the Skorupi again here as a Saysop, which is going to be one of my main Saysops. Why is that the case? You have Poison Sting and Cross Poison to hit the Meryl. You have Awkward Tail to hit the Shackle. Here's the thing. I could see Drapion being better than Skorupi. Here's the thing as well with it. Like, Skorupi is going to have the bug typing instead of the dark typing. Well, of course, yeah, we have with Drapion the dark typing on this Pokemon. This will allow you the dark typing, or just generally not having the bug typing, going to allow you to take more hits from Shackle. So yeah, really depends on what you want to do there. Both of them are going to be fine. Really depends on it. Like Scorpia has better stats, but I feel like Drapian might have a bit more play. But again, like it can be anything here. It is definitely a solid one there. And then we have Clodsire in the back. Clodsire, they're going to be some more teams as well with this Pokemon, as this is the only Pokemon that you can really use to beat Chuckle, other than Marill. And that is basically it. There's only Clodsire that can beat Chuckle, and this is kind of sad. But yeah, Clodsire is needed in order to beat this insane tank. And so we're going to have another team with Clodsire. There are even going to be more coming up as well. We're going to have Proline and Dano in the back. Of course, Greninja and Clodsire is just a very good combination as well. Clodsire can struggle a little bit against the Marill, I guess, sometimes. I would not imagine that Marill is going to be super common. I could see Shuckle being super common, but yeah, Marill has rarely any play, to be fair, because the issue for Marill is that it's an evolved Pokemon. A lot of times they're not allowed. But here, for this one, Shuckle is going to be the one Pokemon that you can beat with Clodsire, and then the Pokemon as a Say-Sub as Proline. Going to be very good, going to be in a different team as well. And again, like you can use different Pokemon as well. You can use more Poison-type Pokemon. It literally doesn't really matter too much. Like team building in this meta is quite weird, I have to say. But at least here, the backline is going to be able to protect you from Pokemon like Inkay, which is going to be very good for you as well. Yeah, we're going to have Marill here again as well. They're going to be the easier alternative option there in Wigglytuff. But Marill, Qwilfish, Tentacool just make a lot of sense as well. Again, you're going to have with Marill a Pokemon that is good against Mudslap Eaters like Golett, which is a Pokemon that you can use in the meta. Then you're going to have your Say-Stop of Qwilfish. Qwilfish is very good because you have, again, Poison typing for the Marill. You're going to have Awkward Tail for the Shuckle. You don't even need Ice Beam, to be fair. Ice Beam is not really needed at all. I would rather go ahead and go for a Poison type move there again. I think it learns even Gang Shot, which might be an interesting choice there against Marill, but this would be an option as well. And then we're going to have Tentacool or Tentacruel in the back. Both of them are going to be very, very solid. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the only other core breaker that I was able to find. This is Pawniard. Pawniard needs Iron Head in order to beat Shuckle consistently. It is not in the Shuckle answers in any kind of shield scenario. If you don't have Iron Head on this Pokemon, Iron Head is needed. Iron Head is currently not the recommended moveset on this Pokemon. So this is a little bit more of a sneaky pick there that you can run that is going to be quite helpful for you. But yeah, again, like Pawniard is going to be a Pokemon that is going to be very good. We're going to have 2 Poison types in the back, which makes it a bit weak maybe against like potentially Golett, but I don't expect to see Golett a lot of times either. Golett, by the way, loses against every shield scenario for the Shuckle. There's only, I think, the non-Shadow variant. If you give it Brick Break and always go for Brick Break, you win the 2-shield scenario against Shuckle. But that's basically it, which is kind of ridiculous. So yeah, Golett is definitely going to be not a Pokemon that's going to be too great, even though it looks kind of okay on paper. But Pawniard is going to be one of the best other anti-meta Pokemon other than Clodsire. Team number 7, we're going to have Golett, which is kind of funny because I literally just talked about it. But yeah, this Pokemon has still a lot of potential though. Of course, it is not as great because it does not beat Shuckle and Marill, which is kind of sad for it. But still gonna get buffed with Nightshade, which is kind of interesting. Otherwise, going to be able to do a lot of damage with the fast move alone, which is going to be very good. A lot of Poison type Pokemon here as well in the meta, which is going to help this Pokemon out quite a bit. And we can take a look here as well at the rest of the team. Zigzagoon. I think Zigzagoon is quite expensive to build. Tackle Swift Dig is going to be okay for it. And then we're going to have Inkay in the back coming next to Psywave at night, which is going to be very, very spammy and definitely a very interesting Pokemon to run. Especially if you're going to get the boost, it might be a very good Pokemon for this meta. Team number 8 is going to be around Mawile. We recently had the raid day for this Pokemon, but also without the Mega Evolution is going to have some play. I would recommend you to go for Power Punches like the other one Pokemon that I saw that could break Shuckle apart is Mawile with Fairy Wind, Power Punch as well as Iron Head. Shuckle just has not really a lot of weaknesses. Iron Head is one of them, but you just don't do enough damage with that. And so you can go for a Power Punch, boost up your attack damage, and as you're gonna stay in the matchup quite long anyway against the opponent Shuckle, you're going to be able to do a lot more damage with the Iron Head than afterwards, so that's going to be a very good thing for you. Then we're going to have Scorupia as a Say-Swap again, and we're going to have Marill or Fungus in the back, making you weak to Fire-type Pokemon, which definitely not going to exist in the meta, where Marill and Shuckle are going to be the best Pokemon. And as you're gonna see here, you're still not going to be able to beat Shuckle apparently in this scenario, but you can definitely beat it, I think, in the 2-shield scenario. I think even in the 1-shield, this is here the mid-ground basically between 0 and 1-shield scenario. So, for example, if you lose a matchup really hard in the 0-shield scenario, but you actually win in the 1-shield scenario just barely, you're still going to take a look here, basically show it as a loss because it is adding those together and taking half of it in order to see if it's going to be a win or loss. So yeah, here Morwell still going to be a Pokemon that can beat Shuckle, usually with the moveset that we have on the screen. And we're going to have also in the back here later on a 10k charge move unlock team as well as the final one. But yeah, anyway, we're going to take a look at the second to last one. We're going to have Pangoro here and Tentacruel as well as Clodsire. Pangoro is going to be a Pokemon I think is going to have some potential against Chuckle because he's going to be able to resist all the hits. Close Combat still going to chunk out quite a bit, but of course it's not going to be the most beautiful matchup either. And of course we're going to have Clodsire in the back to beat the Shuckle, and otherwise you're going to have for the Marill, of course, 2 poison type Pokemon in the back. But yeah, this is going to be it for this one. Tentacruel is a cool Pokemon to use. Tentacruel would work out as well for you. But yeah, we're going to move on to the final team, which is going to be the cheapest team you can run. That's going to be around Spinarak, which only needs 10k for the second charge move. The Purrline as well as Greninja. Yes, Greninja needs Hydro Cannon, but you can also use the Alolan Raticate as well. Greninja is just going to be a bit better. Not really a lot to say about this team. Spinarak is kind of the best poison type Pokemon with like a 10k charge move unlock. Having access to Poison Thing, Cross Poison, and Night Slash going to help you out against matchups like the Marill. I think it's going to be better than it looks on paper here as well. But again, it is going to be a cup where I would recommend you to most likely just try to get one team in, see if you can do some wins with this as well. If you have a Shackle build, this is an easy way of getting to your Legend with it. Also, if you have like Shackle build, I would actually recommend, like if you want to, you could actually send in some battles here for me as well. Would really appreciate this. Same goes for Marill. But yeah, I'm mostly going to try to mainly play Master League. I'm going to do a lot of content. I'm going to try to get some cheap teams in for the Master League as well. So stay tuned for this. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you tomorrow for the Master League.